Okay, well, this one's not a zero turn, but we're out here again. It's Saturday, and I've got another one of the neighbor's machines in here. This one's an X380. So if you've watched my other videos, you know I own an X590. Little trick for you on these tractors. They're kind of hard to do oil changes on with the mower deck on. If you turn the wheel all the way, you can get an oil pan in there, and then you can wedge a funnel in there, get your oil out without making a mess. But same engine, it's Kawasaki. I'm not sure on the horsepower on this one. I think this is a, well, let's see what it says here. This one says 22 horse, so the 590's got a 24 horse in it. It actually says 25, and I believe, according to what I've read, it's a 26, but they derate it to a 25. Couple minor differences. Obviously the 380 is smaller, but there's no power steering. No power steering on the 380, and the mower lift is manual. That's this here. So there's no hydrostatic lift on the 380, and there's no power steering. So, and again, it's just a little bit smaller frame. Still a good machine. This one's a little dirty, but we'll get that cleaned up here in a few minutes. But yeah, basically the same steps on this one. We're going to be doing oil change, air filter, spark plugs, fuel filter, and then we'll take a compressor and blow it all out. We did already sharpen the blades. I will show you guys just in a little bit here. I've got another set of blades ready to sharpen from another mower a guy brought me. I will show you the sharpening setup. It's called an American sharpener. There's videos on YouTube for those too, but if you're going to sharpen a lot of lawnmower blades, they're definitely worth the money. If you're just doing your own, it's probably kind of hard to justify unless you just really want one. But we'll get to that here in a few minutes. I'm going to get back to getting this one taken care of. Probably not going to show you too many steps on this one because, you know, they're really all the same plugs and oil filter and stuff. There's only so much exciting content for an oil change on a garden tractor. So we'll get back to you here shortly. Okay, so something I mentioned earlier in the video. Here's that little tool I was telling you about underneath the seat. So on the garden tractors, pull that out. This is your adjustment tool, which I've got though, so I'll just leave that one in there. But if you look here at the dial, it'll show you, you see it says 2.5, that's the deck leveling position. So on this mower, we'd have to hop on it, and we would use our foot to press this manual raise, and then we've got to unlock the mower lift, come down here, turn our dial to 2.5, and that's going to take it down to 2.5 inches, which should be the height that our tool, if you look at the way the tool is set up, the 3 points there, that should be touching the ground. It should fit under the mower deck, but it should be snug. So we'll hop off of here and we'll take a peek. First thing you got to check is make sure none of your scalp wheels are hitting the ground. That one is, but that's loose because I pulled it loose. Get the oil drain pan in there. That one spins, that one spins. So that's important. If those are hitting the ground, then that's obviously going to throw you off. So let's check right here. We've got about 1/8 of an inch of play is about it under there. So that's pretty darn good. And we'll come to the front. We've got we've got an oil slick up here. Unfortunately, I made a mess. I missed the pan. Okay, that's a little low, so I can't quite get that underneath there. So we'll have to adjust that. And we'll check right here, and she goes under right there. So to adjust the front height, just like on the zero turn, we're gonna loosen this jam nut here, and this one here, and then we'll just tighten these down. I usually go about 1/2 to 1 turn at a time on each side, and that'll bring the front of the deck up. So one thing this guy did complain about is his handle keeps falling off. So you'll see that's actually supposed to be up in here. There's a hole that's supposed to line up in. If I wasn't holding the camera, this would go right in there. There we go. So that sits up in there like that, but his is not staying put. So we're gonna have to do some research. I'm guessing that with that groove right there, that we're probably missing some kind of a detent, maybe an O-ring or something that's supposed to keep that up in there. All right, so I came out to the 590. I looked up inside of here, and you can see that pin right there. Right there, you can see there's plastic housing that's sitting in. That's that groove I showed you a second ago. So we're back in at the 380, and you can see I've got a tie wrap around it. What happened was the plastic is broken off that is supposed to clip into, so that would get into probably replacing like this whole piece here and probably this piece here. So tie wrap will do the trick. I'm sure he'll be happy with it. Okay, so as promised, got another set of blades here to sharpen. This is my mower blade sharpening setup. This is the All-American sharpener. You see here is the model 5005 Gen 2. You can find these guys online, allamericansharpener.com. This is really slick. You can set your angle here. Get you zoomed in. Most of my John Deeres that I service are 45 degrees. So you set that at 45. I'll show you here in a second. Blade clamps in here. You see this arm here swings, and it's got a pin adapter that comes for your angle grinder. And use a flap disc. Definitely the best way I have found to sharpen mower blades, and I've been doing them for years with a file and a bench grinder, but I really like this setup. So I'll get one, I'm gonna put you in the tripod here, and I'll get one clamped in there, and we'll show you how it works. All right, so the last one I did was a much smaller blade, so I'll almost jaw up quite a bit, but you just kind of line up your center. I don't know how well you can see that, but there's this shaft, this threaded rod goes right through the center. You just center it right in the hole here, tighten her down, get you around over on this side. So you can see here in 3 passes what it looks like. Now it's not sharp yet, we've still got a flat edge here, but down here where it wasn't nicked up as bad, it's getting close to sharp already. So sometimes it can take 10 to 20 passes. I'm only using a 60 grit disc at the moment, so you could go with a 40 grit, it'll cut a little faster, but I'll try to get you set here. I'm not sure how much I'm in the way, but I'll get you set so you can kind of see this a little better. That is pretty sharp. Usually when I'm doing this, I'm watching the edge of the blade here, and I'm watching for that dark line to disappear, which tells me I've got clean metal all the way to the edge. So if you kind of look here at the very edge, if I can get that to focus for you, maybe. Come on, iPhone, there you go. So it feels sharp. When you run your hand down it, it's definitely sharp, and we don't want razor blades cutting grass anyway. The sharper it is, the faster it dulls. So. But yeah, that's it. Pretty slick. I'll flip it over here and do the other side, and that one will be done. Sometimes if they're really nicked up, I will take and I'll just kind of clean that off on the back side, but generally you're not going to sharpen the back side of the blade. pretty good, pretty good. So, yeah, there you go. That's the demo on the All-American sharpener. I do take all the blades inside when I'm done and hang them on a nail, make sure they're balanced, but try to keep count how many times you hit each side, and usually be pretty close. It's very rare that I get a blade out of balance with this method, but all right, we'll get the other 3 sharpened up here, and we'll be back with some more content. Well, we've got our last mower in here for the season. My son and I went out and picked this one up tonight. This is the X300, and if you own one of these and you like it, I am sorry, but in my opinion, and this is my opinion, folks, this is the worst tractor John Deere's ever made. I mean, it's got a Kawasaki engine on it, and that's all right, but this mower deck is just a mess. I had this unit out here last year, and the complaint was it kept throwing this belt. So you can see these pulleys, they're not all flat. They've got these weird angles they run at. And what ended up being the problem with this, they kept throwing the belt off of it last year, and they couldn't figure out why. And so I got it out here and took the belt off. Well, 2 of the pulleys, in fact, you can tell which ones is these 2 new shiny. Actually, there were 3. There were these 2 and this one all had to be replaced. The bearings were just shot in them, and they were so wobbly that, you know, it was putting extra slack in the system, and the belt was rolling off. And then this little guy over here, this tensioner arm, this was broken on it, so we had to replace this. So we got it all fixed up for him last year, and it seemed to work. I think they said they blew the belt one other time, but the way this thing is set up, if you hit a spot in your yard with a scalp wheel and you roll that deck up at an angle or something, it's very easy to see how that belt could roll off of there. But yeah, just, I'm not impressed with it. The other goofy thing is with this mowing deck here, I wish my back wasn't bothering me. I don't know, maybe I can stand it up. Yeah, I guess I can. So the other goofy thing is, this is a mulching deck. And if you look real close, you'll see the sharp edges on the blades they're opposing each other. So those blades turn different directions under there. So that one will get you right there. If you're doing one of these 2-blade mowing decks, and I don't know how many other machines might have this, but I know this X300 does. Those blades, in fact, they've got a little diagram here to show you the direction of this belt spin. You can see they run around these extra pulleys before they come back to that mower pulley there. So the 2 blades oppose each other. One spins clockwise and the other one spins counterclockwise. So you got to watch that when you're changing your blades or sharpening them. Make sure you put them back on the correct side, or you're not going to be cutting grass. You're going to be ripping it. The other thing with this tonight, this one, it's just in rough shape. It just hasn't been well cared for. This one's got a little bit of an oil leak. I haven't quite got it figured out where it's coming from. I washed this all down with brake cleaner tonight. My guess is that we're either leaking from the drain tube or the fill tube up here. But I haven't run it long enough yet to find out for sure. But we might just have to let her run it and keep an eye on it. But we did the full service on it: spark plugs, oil filter, air filter, fuel filter, and oil change tonight. Aired up all the tires. We've got to put the mowing deck back on it yet and make sure it's level and all that happy stuff. But it's just about ready to go. It was running really rough, so we pulled the carburetor off it and cleaned the needle and seat. We seem to have that remedied. It's at least running better. It stays running now. It was blowing smoke and stalling when it came in here tonight, so we got it running a little better. I'm suspecting that the gas that's in it's probably got some moisture in it, and that's why it's running a little rough. So I'm gonna have the customer run a fresh tank of gas or 2 through it and see if it clears up, and if not, we'll give them a price on a carburetor. But just kind of wanted to give you my thoughts on this one. You know, the 300 series tractors they're a lot a lot more like your typical lawn tractor. You know, they're smaller and they're mainly for cutting grass. And, you know, compared to the 590, they don't compare to the 590. When you compare it to these 300 series, it's a lot nicer machine. So if you're looking at buying one, I would stay away from the X300 personally. But you see this one's got a broken hood on it. It's lived a rough life. They don't take real good care of it. It sits outside and whatnot. But summer's right around the corner. Happy mowing. As always, hope you found the information helpful. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great day.